This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the New Media Production Studio. Tonight's news, Wyze, yes, the Wyze camera version 1 is at end of life. FCC is going to require ISPs to provide a consumer label similar to what you would see on essentially your can of soup. Soon, you'll be able to accept business payments with your iPhone. And Spacex has announced an aggressive launch schedule, with one launching later tonight. I want to welcome you to episode 1582 of the Geek News Central podcast for Thursday, January 27th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Of course, you can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider and a new way we will talk about tonight. Hey, I want to give a warm welcome to all new listeners of the show. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. When you're on your website, definitely get subscribed or follow the show on the right-hand column of the website. You definitely want to also get subscribed to the newsletter while you're there. The newsletter contains everything that I'm going to talk about in the show tonight, delivered directly to your inbox. So that is available to sign up there as well. Of course, again, don't forget to subscribe to the show and check out all the great content that the content writers are writing with the team here at Geek News Central. Of course, you can join our chat room at geeknews.chat or our Discord channel. You can always contact me via email. That's the easiest way, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com, @geeknews on Twitter. Of course, I'm on Facebook as well. All the partner shows are linked at geeknewscentral.com, includes the new media show, includes the ProGear.guru site, the Gadget Professor site, Podcast Legends, and GNC Week in Review, which just celebrated its 200th episode. So definitely check those out. Definitely want you to do that. Of course, this show is sponsored, again, by the longest-running continuous sponsor of a podcast. That's our good friends at GoDaddy. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy to really lock in savings. And really, this is where the rubber hits the road. You can save a lot of money by using my promo codes. So 30% off new product purchases, $4.99 for a new .com for new or transfers for new customers. So let me be very clear. $4.99 deal for new customers only on new or transfer domains. The $1.99 a month economy hosting for the first year of the free domain, it's going away in about 4 days. So you have to act quickly. Or get a $2.99 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year with a free domain. Of course, a free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder, your choice of personal business or business plus plans. All those deals, everything is available at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Geek News Central listeners save an average of 94% on purchases of GoDaddy hosting accounts and an average of $3.50 on each GoDaddy domain name. These codes support us, support this show, support what I do, allow me to continue to do things and replace broken gear, which we will talk about here in a second, because this has been gear failure week. But anyway, I want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here. Make sure you use the codes. We're coming to the end of the month. Your support is greatly appreciated when you go out there and make that purchase at GoDaddy using one of my promo codes. If you're a new customer, even better. And definitely check them out. They do everything you need to get online, do a business, start a podcast. It's all there. Okay, so wow, interesting week. My car, still in the shop. They can't get a certain part. And it's a transmission / something cooler. And they keep getting the wrong one. They've ordered it 3 times. So my 30 days with a rental car has run out. So now I'm at $28 a day on my own until they get my vehicle. So it's not going to be cheap. I'm digging into my pocket now, unlike what I wanted to do. They said it was going to be done on the 19th. Well, here it is, the 27th. And I've talked to the insurance company, and there's not a lot that I can do. I just have to be patient. So as I announced earlier in the show, we've got something new. And this has actually been implemented for a while. Some of you have known about this. If you're using a Podcast 2.0 app, and that's where you're saying, what is that, Todd? What's a Podcast 2.0 app? There's a lot of apps that are adapting some new standards in podcasting that allow you to donate to this show directly within the app. And probably the best place just is a Google Podcast 2.0 or Podcast Index, and you'll get over and find these new apps that support donation, and it's through crypto. You can donate a Satoshi. Now, a Satoshi is a derivative of Bitcoin. So 100 million Satoshis equals 1 Bitcoin. So obviously the price will go up and down, and being able to donate when it's down is always good, or up, vice versa. So if you're using a Podcast 2.0 app, you can donate to the show right directly through the app. You can boost, you can set an amount. We've been having some donations already come in to Geek News Central from people that have known about this. We just enabled it for the new media show. We've got some donations there. So let me explain what I've accumulated so far. For an example, in the past 30 days, we've had about $10 worth of Satoshis donated to the show, which, it's okay. People it's a micro support system. So definitely appreciate it when you do that. And there's new terms you're going to start hearing me talk about, Lightning Node and all kinds of crazy stuff. So we'll be talking more about it. I'll be sharing some of the apps that you can utilize. Don't forget, PayPal always works on the geeknewscentral.com/insider page as well. So I am putting a call out here. I need someone that is administratively very adept to help me with administration duties with the Podcast Awards. Answer emails, take care of some paperwork, and more of that work will come at the end when we're doing trophies and that kind of stuff. So I'm looking for someone to administratively help me with the Podcast Awards. You will be paid for your time, and we'll discuss that, because it's probably going to be because of the scope of the work isn't going to be a lot of work, but it's stuff that I'm trying to offload as much as I can now, because I just don't have the time I need to do everything I need to do. So we'll talk about that, the compensation, you get an acknowledgement, of course. But anyway, anyone that's administratively adept with paperwork, I need to just drop me a note, geeknews@gmail.com, to help me with the Podcast Awards. Also, I received my hammer. And what this was for was the first annual Veteran Podcast Awards. This show was nominated in the news category. First annual news nominee 2021, Geek News Central, presented by Broken Jarhead. So this came in the mail. And so I've got another hammer. This is smaller than the Thor hammer up there, but it's more prestigious, so it'll probably take its place. But this came the other day. Very interesting how they've designed this. I assume it's wood. It kind of looks like it's a 4x4 made into a hammer, which is nice. And it's got on the handle here, it has parachute cord. And they did a nice job wrapping it, and it looks good. And at the bottom is a medallion that says Broken Jarhead. So very, very slick. And that came in the mail for my participation in that and being a nominee. So thank you, all of you. And I asked many of you to do that, make a nomination here recently as well. All right, so let's talk about gear. A lot of the stuff that is in the studio was from I did my first initial purchases back in 2004, 2005. And one of the things that it's just a power conditioner. It's from a company called Furman. And it's been in my rack for years and years and years. Matter of fact, we're at 2021. So, 17 years later, The switch is got an issue. So I can turn it on, and if I wiggle it just right, the power will stay on, but if it gets bumped or anything, the power goes out. So I guess I can't complain for a piece of gear that has lasted this many years. And I really got to thinking about it quite a bit. I'm looking here at my stack, my DBX compressor, my equalizer, my Aphex Big Bottom. All those have just steadily worked for years and years without me even really thinking about it. And of course, things always come in threes. So yesterday, when I was getting ready to do the new media show, the encoder that I used to capture this show, of course, I capture it here on the TriCaster, but it's a real high. It's like 50 gigs for an hour. And then there's an H.264 encoder that's in the other room attached to my Mac that does basically a lower end encoding, but it's one high enough to publish out on the net. And that particular box is having a trouble syncing. So, it just goes to show you. And, of course, everything you want to buy now is USB-C. And the computer I have that's hooked to that isn't USB-C. And so it is an interesting time as stuff is getting older in here in the studio. I'm sure we're going to start to see more of those types of events. But what do you do? Well, here's what you do. eBay. For all this older stuff, eBay is absolutely fantastic for finding stuff that used to be very, very expensive and find it inexpensively. Be able to find that now a used gear that still works for, literally pennies on the dollar of what it cost before. So now I did order a new Furman power conditioner. I think I paid about the same amount for the new one as I paid for the old one. It was $125. Wasn't that much. But, for a piece of gear that lasted 17 years, I guess I can't. And probably what I'll do, if I had the time, I could probably pull out of the rack and pull the switch out and look at the switch, part number and that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably fix it, but I don't have time to rewire. I need to be able to pull this thing out, plug the new one in, and keep on moving and not mess around with it. So, so gear failures, I hope it isn't the start of a trend. I had to take a shot of H2O for those of you listening. Sorry. This unit, this office I'm in, it heats weird. This room always gets the hottest. The room I work in during the day is the coolest. And then the farther you back you get, so it's like this heat zone right here. And it's to the point now, because it's been so cold here, I'm probably going to bring a fan in to see if I can move some of this air. The vents, I've tried blocking vents and stuff but it's just, I think the unit that heats this is a little small. It does well when it's in, the mid 30s, but when it gets down to zero, it struggles to keep up. And then, things are not good everywhere. All right. So, hey, Chris. Hi, Kirk. Thanks for checking in, saying hello. If you're on any of the streams, you're on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you may be watching, make sure you say hello. We want to hear from you. But I'm going to go ahead and get into the stack of stuff. I'm going to be brutally honest. I am way, way ready for the weekend. In a big way. It's been like 2 weeks straight of absolute sheer busy insanity. And what it really boils down to is we're getting ready to do a whole bunch of stuff with Blueberry. Getting ready to launch our new stats platform. We're getting ready to do a big announcement in early March. Getting ready for starting to travel again. Going to be going to LA to Podcast Movement Evolutions. So just things like that, just busy, and I don't have time to breathe at all, along with everything else that's happening around here. So let's talk about Wyze. Well, I don't know if you can see it. For those of you watching, the angle's wrong. But if I move this mic, back over my left shoulder, there is a Wyze version 1 camera that sits on a shelf back there. And it basically is, keeps, this is kind of a blind area for my other cameras. I've got cameras all over this place, but this little area here was kind of this blind area. So I put one of those in so I wouldn't have any blind spots in the studio. If we ever get broken in, I want every angle covered so they have every opportunity to get someone's face or, have some evidence. And so that's a Wyze version 1 camera. And the company says Wyze Cam 1 can't support a necessary security update. So they're going to discontinue its first camera on February 1st. Now, it's been 5 years since it's been released. Now, I have 2 of those here in the building. And when they don't give the specified security issues, that makes me nervous. So those 2 cameras are essentially going to be replaced. The new ones are like $33 or something like that each, which is not a big deal, and they're much better cameras. But anytime you've got a office setting where I have servers, I have data backup, I have computers connected to work, if there's a security issue through the camera, the last thing I want is a gateway for someone to gateway through those cameras to get into any part of my system. So they're going to be getting unplugged and replaced. So we've known this has been coming, but they reminded folks today about this. And if you have a Wyze version 1 camera, they will have sent you an email to let you know that you get a $3 credit, which is not that much, but a typical V3 camera costs $36. So you may want to replace the V1s if you've got them in places where they're connected to networks or something that you, and again, they haven't said you have to stop using them, only they're going to quit updating them. But I'm reading between the lines on that, and I'm not taking any chances. So just to let you know, that's what's coming. I don't know if you've used a Wyze camera or not. I love these things. They're inexpensive, and they got a pay as you want plan now. They're much cheaper than a Nest camera. It's these things, especially on the annual subscription. The Nest cameras are insane. They're great, but it's like $200 for an annual recording thing with Nest. So, I've let all my Nest subscriptions expire. And then I've got different solutions to cover the areas where they were looking. So I'll be able to go back and look if I need to. But these Wyze cameras are very, very expensive and a great replacement. The FCC is going to stop. The FCC aims to stop broadband bill shock, reviving a plan that was nixed by Ajit Pai. And they're going to require consumer labels to include price, fees, data caps, and performance data. They're going to require this so that everyone really knows what they're getting. And you say, okay, $99 a month, the next thing you do, your bill's $142 because of all kinds of weird taxes and transit fees and whatever else they do. But these consumer labels would have the broadband providers have to provide these at the time you buy the product. So when you order it, they're going to have to send you this, probably an email or mail you a document with this in it. So the 4-0 vote approved a notice of proposed rulemaking that seeks public comment on the plan. There's generally at least a few months between a public comment sent and a commission vote to issue final rules. And the deadline for initial comments will be 30 days after the NPRM is published in the Federal Register. So I think this is a good idea because oftentimes you don't know what you're going to get. The price, the data allowance, do they have data caps? What are the overage charges? What are you getting charged for equipment cost? Any other maintenance fees, one-time fees, early termination fees, all that has to be in this document that they're proposing to provide to consumers. And I think this is a smart thing. I really do. Okay, next up, Apple is reportedly going to allow iPhones to accept contactless payments. Now, apparently this has been in the works for a while. The service doesn't need any external hardware. You know how now you put your credit card on a contactless reader and it you don't have to stick it in the machine and wait. Well, small businesses might soon be able to accept payments using their iPhones without the need for the extra hardware. Apple could start rolling out the feature through a software update in the next few months, perhaps with the final version of iOS 15.4 that's coming out this spring. Apple's reportedly been working on the service since 2020 when it purchased a Canadian startup called Wyze, known for developing technology that turns a phone into a payment portal. Wyze tech only needs an app and the phone's NFC to work, unlike services like Square that require the use of external hardware. The user simply has to type in the amount they want to charge, and their customer only needs to tap their credit card onto the back of the device. Apple declined comment, but this would be really, really cool. I hope that they open this up for everyone. It's just not Apple Pay. I really do. Apple Pay is slick. It really, really is. But many of you probably don't have an Apple credit card or want one. So you want to use your own card and your own, So we'll see. But I think from a business perspective, this is brilliant. Now, if Square and those folks can tap into it, then they would just code up their apps to be able to accept the NFC touch. SpaceX is, I think, launching tonight around 10:40. Don't quote me on that Eastern. I heard, and I saw it somewhere in a news flash or something on the web today, but they've announced that they're going to try to launch up to 52 missions in 2022. Now, they wanted to do 40-some last year, and they only got 31 in. But that's an impressive figure. And that was given during a virtual meeting of NASA's Aerospace Safety Advisory Panel, which gives guidance to space agencies on how to maintain safety within its biggest programs. NASA and SpaceX will have to be watchful during 2022 that they're not the victim of their success. Sandy Magnus, a former NASA astronaut and member of the panel, said during the meeting, there's an ambitious 52-launch manifest for SpaceX over the course of a year. And she says that's an incredible pace. And I agree. That's like one a week. And we know, of course, SpaceX is a major partner for NASA on human spaceflight. The company is responsible for taking astronauts to the International Space Station with Crew Dragon. And, of course, they're currently developing a next-generation rocket system called Starship that we've talked about a little bit on this show. Starship's an amazing platform. I think if you're not following what's going on in Boca Chica, there's a guy that's got a YouTube channel. His name Marcus, I believe Marcus House or something. I think that's the name of the channel. He's got probably the best news on what's going on with SpaceX and the space in general. But 52 launches is a big number, and I don't know if that includes the Starship launches or not. That's going to be an exciting one. I think the first one they're going to blow up. We're definitely going to be talking about that during a reentry. I'd be surprised if they get it back intact. Time will tell, because this will be the first time they're testing their new heat shield, and they've had all kinds of tile trouble, just like they had on the space shuttle. And this particular rocket is just aluminum. So, but it says it can take a lot more heat, but we'll see. One or two tiles off won't cause a mission to be lost, but not much more than that. All right. This is the weirdest thing. Second Life is still in existence, right? Well, Warner Music Group is building a musical theme park in the metaverse. So it's almost like copying Fortnite, but Warner Music is creating a performance venue. It's teaming up with the Sandbox to create a hybrid musical theme park and concert venue on the platform. So some of Warner Music Group's vast roster of artists, which includes the likes of Ed Sheeran, Green Day, Dua Lipa, are expected to play shows and take part in the music experience on the virtual stage at a later date. And the Sandbox will offer ardent fans a chance to buy virtual property next to WMG section of the metaverse. It's really bizarre. The deal resulted in the Sandbox's first music-themed world. The platform has teamed up with artists include Snoop Dogg, deadmau5, Steve Aoki on an individual basis, but this is the biggest music partnership to date. So the Sandbox didn't say when the virtual venue would debut. So I'm not familiar with the Sandbox. Anybody been on that platform before? It just seems weird. It really does. Give us a concert, live stream it. Doesn't need to be in some artificial metaverse. Just put it on the net. We don't need to go into some stupid platform where you can sell to us. It's ridiculous. Minnie Mouse. Nothing very controversial about Minnie Mouse, right? Everyone loves Minnie Mouse. Well, Minnie Mouse is amongst controversy. Minnie Mouse now wears a pantsuit, and the internet has a lot to say. You all mad at Miss Minnie for wearing designers and having a wardrobe. She's not real. It's a cartoon character. Stella McCartney has designed Minnie Mouse's very first pantsuit, and it's gorgeous. And it's for Disneyland Paris at 30. Well, she's wrong. It's not the first. She wore pants before, but maybe not a pantsuit. Someone said in a Twitter reply it looked like pajamas, and I would have a tendency to say, yeah, it looks like Minnie Mouse is wearing pajamas. But, yeah, people are just freaking out. I'm sorry, but that's ugly, sis. And also, this ain't the first time. Chill, this photo is years old, and no one cared where Minnie Mouse, or was that? Yeah, Minnie Mouse wore pants. And Disney clearly forgot the actual girl boss moment when she ran the entire club as showrunner and bookkeeper. So here's, why do people get freaked out over the smallest things? It's curious how Minnie Mouse, which, is a beloved Disney character. You go to Disneyland, you get a picture by Minnie Mouse. That's the highlight of some kid's day. But people are freaking out because they drew a different outfit on her. Okay. People have too much time on their hands. You need to get out of the house. It's got to be people that are still staying in home and, masked up in their cars or something. Laparoscopic surgery has been performed by a robot without human assistance. Research at Johns Hopkins. I can tell you, Johns Hopkins does some cool stuff. They got a lot of smart people at Johns Hopkins. They issued a report noting that their smart tissue autonomous robot and they call it STAR, has completed laparoscopic surgery on pig tissue without human guidance. The surgery, which involves the connecting of two intestinal ends, was performed successfully in animals with a significant better result than those performed by humans per the team. But because oftentimes this type of surgery is done when someone has had a catastrophic injury, the tissue can be a little funny. And surgeons can adapt to that tissue's viability, I guess is the best way to say that. So this is the next thing they have to really get this thing to figure out how to do, is to adapt to essentially be able to handle material that isn't got the same consistency every time. So time will tell where this is going, but won't be too long. Robots will be operating on us. So Peacock has revealed its strategy for winning subscribers. Well, it's very simple. Spend, spend, spend. The service currently has 9 million paying subscribers, and they have 24.5 million active accounts, with more than 9 million of those being paid. Peacock plans to double its content budget to around $3 billion in 2022 alone. And those figures were surprisingly transparent for a streamer that has recently held its subscriber data close to the chest. The company has declined to specify the number of paid subscribers. Peacock's monthly active accounts are up from the 20 million active the company reported in July. During the earnings call of the Peacock parent Comcast on Thursday, said the company also expects the 7 million highly engaged Peacock members who receive premium at no additional cost through Comcast's own Xfinity service and other distributors will convert to paid subscribers over time. And of course, Peacock is still tiny compared to giants like Disney, Netflix, and so of course Netflix just raised the price, so some of these other services maybe start to look a little more attractive. The FCC today revoked China's Unicom authorization to operate in the United States. You're thinking, how is a Chinese telecommunication company operating in the United States? Well, the authority that had been granted in 2022 was revoked in a 4-0 vote. The order requires China Unicom Americas to end domestic interstate international telecommunications service in the United States within 60 days. The Chinese Unicom and Chinese Embassy did not respond. The FCC said Chinese Unicom America is ultimately owned and controlled by the Chinese government, and provides mobile virtual network operator services in international private leased circuit and Ethernet private line services, along with IP transit, cloud, and resold services in the United States. They're out of here. They've been trying to get this going for quite a while. This has been in work since March of last year. And so we know that China Telecom got revoked last year. So these Chinese companies are doing things they shouldn't be doing through those interconnect agreements. If you've got a Mac, Apple releases iOS 15.3, iPad OS 15.3, Mac OS Monterey 12.2, Watch OS 8.4, TV OS 15.3, and HomePod software version 15.3. So you'll be getting a bunch of downloads and a bunch of updates. And for my poor computer at the house, it'll take about 2 weeks to get that download. Social media scammers stole at least $770 million in 2021. We're going to talk a little bit more about this at the end of the show. But this last year has been a boon. According to a new report, agency FTC says more than 95,000 people lost $770 million to scammers. That's more than double the $258 million they said scammers made off in 2020. The report doesn't speculate on why there was such a big increase, but I'm going to think most people were probably home and people were being called, and romance scams, and I got him here to lock up your computer scams, and all kinds of crazy stuff. A lot of elderly get taken for a lot of money. And but anyway, the FTC's recommendation is that users try to opt out of targeted advertising when possible, as scammers can easily use those tools available to advertisers on social media to systematically target people with bogus ads based on details such as their age, interests, or past purchases. Agency also recommends users lock down their privacy settings and be wary of any message asking for money, especially in the form of cryptocurrency or gift cards, or just plain up asking for money via Cash App. Robinhood, their shares have went down 50% after it loses active users. Forecast week on revenue. Robinhood anticipates first quarter revenue of less than $340 million, down 35%. Wall Street expected $448 million. Monthly active users fell to 17.3 million last quarter from 18.9 in the third. And what else? Robinhood is about to face its toughest comps in the first and second quarters of 2022, followed its record year in 2021 from events like GameStop short squeeze that really helped boost them. So 15% down. Ouch. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That hurts anybody. Apple revenue pops 11% to $123.9 billion. Tim Cook says supply chain improving. So Apple reports the largest, let me repeat that, largest single quarter in terms of revenue ever, with sales growing over 11%. Tells you where they're making their money. Apple beat analyst estimates for sales in every product category except for iPads. And, of course, he said that they're doing well. So they had $2.10 earning versus $1.89. iPhone revenue, $71.6 billion. Services revenue, $19.5 billion. Other product revenue, $14.7 billion. Mac revenue, $2.8 billion. iPad revenue, $7.25 billion. Gross margin of 43.8%. Wow. 43.8% margin. Makes you go, huh. Speaking of Netflix, Netflix officially lists HDR support for Google's latest Pixels. The Pixel 6, 6 Pro, and 5A are officially listed as compatible for Netflix HDR if you have a compatible internet connection as well. California has, the governor there has detailed a $10 billion plan to boost electric vehicle adoption. Now remember, come 2035, you will not be able to buy a gas vehicle, gas or diesel vehicle in the state. They'll be completely electric. If you live in California, you want to buy a car in California after 2035, you cannot buy a new gas-powered vehicle. Isn't that something? So they're going to spend a lot of money to get charging stations. They're going to incentivize giving people money to buy EVs, like $300 million. It's crazy. Must be on rebates or something. So they're going to spend $10 billion to go electric. Where are they going to put all those batteries? Amazon workers in Staten Island have gathered enough employee signatures to hold a union vote, the National Labor Relations Board says. So we'll see. They've been working to get signatures since April. And Emma says it's skeptical there are a sufficient number of legitimate signatures. Well, maybe. So we'll see if this happens. And the LLU submitted its petition for an union election in late December. And the NLRB is scheduled a hearing on February 16th to discuss which workers would be included in the union's bargaining unit. So Amazon wants to know how those signatures were verified. Now, Amazon doesn't want unionization. Let's just be kind of straight. Amazon will, of course, say they were skeptical. NLRB verified the cards using their own payroll list that Amazon sent them. And Amazon Labor signed up over 2,500 workers in person. Now they're going to have an election. So we'll see where this goes. And being it's in New York, they'll probably go union. All right, so many of you have password managers. I'm a big fan of LastPass, but there's 10 ways to make the most of your password manager. It's a good article by PC World. Link will be up in the show notes. The one I use the most is the password generator. Browser extensions. This is all stuff that just makes life so much easier. Turn on two-factor authentication, obviously. It's good to run a password audit. Even your Chrome, Google will do this for you too. And of course, change passwords on a regular basis automatically. So this link will be up in the show notes. Check it out. This launched tonight. Here's the article. I should have had it up earlier. Oh, what time is it going to launch? They're launching a Italian radar remote sensing satellite. And the mission is scheduled to get underway from Pad 40 at 6:11 p.m. Eastern. Launch will mark the 5th space mission to depart Florida's this coast. It doesn't actually say the liftoff time, but I thought it was 10-something. Oh, it is at 6:11 today, so maybe it's already went. So maybe it's old news. All right. Sorry. Dark web news site owner sentenced for a role in $8.4 million kickback scheme. This guy in Israel is going to do some time. So let me see how much time he got. He is being extradited. He and Coven received the equivalent of $8.4 million. Where's it said here somewhere how much time he got? It doesn't. I can't find it now. Of course. I think he got like 8 years. So he definitely got some time for this. But anyway, I'll have the link up in the show notes. Sorry about that. The Vets, a pet healthcare platform, provides at-home care, raised $40 million, led by Target Global. So if you want a vet to come to your house, they're launching all over the country. It's a tech-enabled pet healthcare platform, and the company provides the ability for pet owners and practitioners to discuss medical conditions and preventive care while observing pets in their home environment. Visits include full diagnostics such as blood workup and capture vitals. The vets note that the aggregating from these care visits allow more accurate diagnosis and healthcare predictions, along with analysis of possible trends by breed. So where are they at now? They're in Miami, Tampa, Dallas, Austin, Houston, Portland, Seattle, Las Vegas, Denver. Starting today, vet service now available in New York City as well. And they want to be in 25 cities. Of course, they're in big cities. They're not in the small areas. Probably where people can actually afford as well. Facebook plays catch up with new features for Messenger, including encrypted chat, so they think this is coming. End-to-end encrypted Facebook Messenger chats have been held back, and Meta is rolling a large Messenger update that brings many of the service features to encrypted conversations. You can use reaction stickers, message-specific replies, and forwarding. You'll see typing indicators, verified use badges, and screenshot notifications. So not that governments are thrilled. Officials from the UK and other countries have rallied against end-to-end encryption, as you would expect. I don't know why this made news, but the most popular news app in December was Apple News. It wins the UK top spot, beat the BBC. I have yet to use the Apple News app. Am I the only one? Am I missing something here? Oh, that's what's going on. I have 2 of these articles on the dark web. That's why I think, well, I still don't have how much time they got, so close that one. NASA hopes to speed up mission scheduling with help from Microsoft's quantum division. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory is partnering with Microsoft Azure Quantum Team to explore how it can communicate more efficiently with spacecraft. Compared to some other hurdles agencies overcome to put missions like Perseverance on Mars, staying in touch with those spacecraft might not seem so difficult. However, sending instructions to every mission the agency has on the go is its own logistics challenge. And, of course, NASA depends on the Deep Space Network, a series of radio antennas located across the U.S., Spain, and Australia. Allows the agency to stay in constant contact with its spacecraft even as the Earth rotates. Scheduling the use of that system, something NASA notes, involves a lot of constraints. For example, not every dish in the network is equally capable of communicating with spacecraft that are on the edge of the solar system. So what more missions like the James Webb Space Telescope and Perseverance rover put an increased load on the system due to the amount of high-fidelity data they need to transmit back to Earth. Sounds like they need to put some intermediary device in space. That would help, don't you think? So they're going to work with Microsoft to make that happen, make it more efficient. Tesla closed 2021 a high note by besting expectations in Q4. Tesla generated $17.72 billion in revenue. $16 billion of that came from its vehicle business. From that total, Tesla's Q4 saw net income of $2.32 billion and $2.05 a share. So came in a little higher. So that was Tesla, and we don't know the rest of the divisions, of course. And Elon Musk says it's more important for Tesla to make a robot than new car models this year. The robot code name Optimus has a potential to be more significant than the vehicle business over time, Elon said. And, of course, this is it's about Musk and being a showman. And it shows that Tesla's working on an exciting project scheduled for years into the future that help to energize employees, customers, and investors. So how much is a humanoid robot going to cost? Yes, there's still crazies out there. Apple had to obtain a restraining order against a Virginia woman accused of stalking CEO Tim Cook. According to documents filed with California's Santa Clara County Superior Court, Apple claims a Virginia woman drove across the country to make contact with him. The woman also alleged trespass on his property on 2 separate occasions. Apple also claims that the woman sent several emails to Cook with pictures of a loaded handgun. and said she bought along. She said she bought along with ammunition. Ooh. Alvarez became aware of the woman after spotting tweets she wrote claiming to be Cook's wife, and that Cook was the father of her twin children, according to filing. Well, has she not researched Tim's sexual preference? Wow. So, restraining order against her he has. AT&T CEO suggests Netflix price hike is great news for HBO Max. HBO Max isn't the prices service in the game anymore because Netflix is. Dune, The Matrix, and Succession boast U.S.-based HBO and HBO Max subscribers to 46.8 million. The subscriber count reached 73.8 million globally. So it sounds like they're doing pretty good there. Everyone's a fan of HBO, right? Dune and a few other, help boost it, right? And Matrix. What a awesome movie. Okay, Amazon and a widely mocked scheme that turned workers into Twitter ambassadors. Amazon paid tweeters, praised the company, and denied that workers urinate in bottles. So they were paying warehouse employees to say nice things about the company on social media. It didn't go so good, so they canned it. All right, let's talk about money laundering. Now, that's not something you never hear from this show, right? Well, the U.S. government shut down a couple of sites, Suex and Chatez, I think last year. But where two have been taken down, others stop in. The company now that the crooks are using to elicit or to, basically send money places they shouldn't be and trying to hide it is a service called DeFi, DEFI. The second one down is mining, and another one's called high risk exchange. So those were the biggest ones. And so there, according to this article, there's a 1,964% year-over-year increase in total value received by DeFi protocols from illicit addresses, reaching a total of $900 million in 2021. So lots of money moving around, crypto specifically, probably drugs, probably stuff that's been, people have had ransomware, all that stuff. So it's a great article if you want to read up on it. Link will be in the show notes. All right, let me go ahead and I got an email that came in. It came in from Bob. And Bob, I definitely appreciate you saying, hey, Todd, I was listening to your latest podcast on the way into work this morning. You asked what we were hearing for intro commercials. Mine was the University of Massachusetts Global, Massachusetts. Okay, sorry. If you like Yellowstone, he said, take a look at the show 1883. Focus on the history of the Dutton family that was introduced in Yellowstone. Also, if space flight kills red blood cells, what is that going to do for the manned mission to Mars? Well, that is a very, very good question, Bob. And, of course, Bob is in Dover, New Hampshire, so I didn't destroy that. Thank you for letting me know what ad you heard for the University of Massachusetts. Oh, that's funny. But what ads are you hearing? Had a meeting with that team today, and that's all I can say about that. Yes, I'm the guinea pig. So, thanks for being here. If you have comments on today's show, it's real simple. geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com, at Geek News on Twitter. The show does take donations in Satoshis via Podcast 2.0 apps. Or if you have no idea what I just said, geeknewscentral.com/insider. Become an insider today at 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, or $25 a month. We do appreciate every one of our ongoing insiders. Thank you for your ongoing support, and your donations to the show is greatly appreciated. It's been my pleasure bringing the podcast. I'll be back here with you on Monday from a very cold, snowy, icy southern Michigan from the new media production studios here. Everyone take care. We'll see you next week. Everyone take care. Be safe. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time. I got to hit the right mouse. All right. Bye-bye.